In this video, we're going to talk about the Grades tool in Desire to Learn. Click on Assessments and then Grades. The Grades tool in Desire to Learn works a little differently from grades items in other learning management systems. Grade items in Desire to Learn are set up manually and independently of the items that the grades are associated with. In other words, there is no automatic association of an item that can be graded and the grades entry. By clicking on that Grades tool, you'll see that there are 4 tabs at the top of the Grades area: Enter Grades, Manage Grades, Schemes, and Setup Wizard. We're looking at the Enter Grades screen right now. Let's click on Manage Grades. On the Manage Grades tab, you'll see a number of different items, and let's take a look at what's already here, and then we'll create some new items. First, you'll see that this instructor has set up her selections by topic. So there's a grade category called Written Assignments, and it has some items inside it. There's a grade category called Exams, and some items inside it, and so on. The structure of the grades area is up to you as the instructor. You could have grade categories that are Unit 1 with items inside that, Unit 2 with items inside that, or you could set it up by function as this instructor has done. The reason that you have this flexibility is that grade categories and items are not automatically associated with the items that they represent. You do have to do that process manually, but it does give you all of this flexibility. Let's take a look at something you've probably seen in some other videos. Items that have a gray background are containers. These are grade categories. They don't have actual grades associated with them. And then items inside those categories have a white background. These are the actual grade items. As usual, you're looking at that big blue button, which is probably the next thing that you want to do, and it says New. You can put in new items and new categories. Click on Category. The new category screen comes up, and we'll key in a name, Sample Unit 1 Grades. Let's take a look at some of the elements here in this category. There's grading options, display options. We're going to actually skip over that because if you put these options in at the category level, they're going to apply to every single item inside the category. And typically we want to select those specific restrictions per item and not per category. So click on that Save and Close button. And you'll see on your Manage Grades screen, I'll scroll down here, that there's now a new category at the bottom, Sample Unit 1 Grades. I'm going to scroll back up to the top and click on the New button again. This time choose New Item. For the new grade item, you have some choices to make. Is the grade going to be numeric? In other words, you can just key in a number. A select box by being able to select things like A+, A minus, B+, pass-fail grades, formula, calculated grades, or text only. For the purposes of our demonstration, we'll choose numeric. For this new grade item, this is our Sample Unit 1 discussion grade. What category do we put it in? We created a category earlier, or if we need to now, we can create a new category on the fly. You can also put in a description of this grade, and this description is shown only to you as the instructor unless you click that Allow Users to View the Description box. Under Grading, a required field is how many points is this item worth? The suggestion here is 10. I'm going to key 50. One of the things that really helps students to stay on track is giving at least a value of 50 points for anything, even for short or small items in your course. The reason to put in at least 50 points here is called perceived number bias. If students see something that's worth 5 points or 10 points, they're much more likely not to do that or rationalize and say, oh, it's only worth 5 points, even if your course is worth a total of 100 points and that 5 points is worth 1/20th of the entire grade. Make sure that your course is worth, say, 1,000 total points, and that small items are worth 50, and maybe exams and larger papers are worth 250 or 300 points. This Can Exceed checkbox means that if you want to give a student more credit than the number you've put into the maximum points, the system won't balk at you. Bonus points. This assignment is worth a bonus on top of the final calculated grade. Or exclude from the final grade calculation, so students will see their grade but it won't be factored into their final. Perhaps this is a practice item or some discussion. The grade scheme, it says default as percentage. We'll leave that as it is. If you had a grading rubric, and see our video on rubrics for more about this, you could add that to this grading scheme here. And in terms of the display options, you do have some options to allow students to be able to see the class average for this grade item or the distribution for this grade item. Click on Save and Close. Now when I scroll down to the bottom of the screen, you'll see that we have that category, Sample Unit 1 Grades, and an item, Sample Unit 1 Discussion Grade. I could use that big blue New button at the top to add more items, like a sample discussion forum grade, a sample quiz grade, or a sample Dropbox grade. It's the same process. Another quick word on how to associate grade items with the things that are actually graded. Go into the thing that's actually graded. So here in Communication, I'll go to my Discussions. Down here at the bottom I have a discussion that isn't associated with anything in the gradebook, so I'll click on Edit that topic. And you'll see that now that I have the items in the Grades tool, there's a tab called Assessment for this particular discussion topic. And I can select on that grade item drop-down list my Sample Unit 1 discussion grade, or I could put together a grade item on the fly. In the Score Out Of, I match up the number of points to the item in the Grades tool, and I click Save. I get that little Saved Successfully pop-up, and now this item is actually associated with that grade tool, so that when you're grading, the feedback, content, and numbers that you put in for the grade when you're grading this particular item get pushed over into the gradebook automatically.